Like physically, I hated being there.
It sounds so chaotic in like all the best ways though.
I think that would just be insane.
Oh my God, that'd be so cool. Hey guys, it's Natalia and welcome back to Unfiltered Fashion Talks. Today we have Mecca from Mo.Na Gems with us. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good.
I'm so excited to have you on today. I usually have like fashion designers and like people in kind of that field. So I'm really excited to talk to you in a more, I know, sustainability, scientific, also jewelry kind of way, which is really cool. So
Thank you.
yeah,
I'm really excited. I love talking about Mona, so I really appreciate the opportunity to, express my enthusiasm for what I'm doing.
of course. So give us just like a little background of yourself, a little intro before we get into this too much.
Yeah, so my name is Mecca McDonald. I'm 22 years old. I live in Brooklyn, New York. I'm from South Florida, and I'm a co-founder of a biodegradable accessories business. We make biodegradable jewelry with the mission to decrease plastic waste in the fashion industry. Yeah, we started our business. Actually, our business turned a year old last month, February 28th.
Exciting.
Yeah, so we're a year old, so very excited about our first birthday.
Yeah, no, that's super exciting. I think I don't know when I found you guys, but I feel like I found you guys pretty early on as well in terms of like finding you on TikTok. Which is really, really cool. I love everything you're doing. So let's just like go a little bit back. So you went to Johns Hopkins University, right? Which is like one of the top schools for like STEM majors. That's really freaking cool. What was
Yeah.
like, what did you originally think you were gonna like do with that? Or like, did you always intend to kind of go into something creative like you have done? Or did you have a completely separate kind of path figured out for yourself?
Yeah, so I went to Johns Hopkins, and like everyone goes to Hopkins thinking, I'm gonna become a doctor. Like, I was like 17, 18, like, yes, like I'm gonna become the best doctor there is. I'm going to a world-renowned research institution. So when I went, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be a doctor. This is gonna be great. And after my first semester, I was like, I hate chem lab. Like, I love science. I love science. I love research. I love all that stuff. I just hated chem lab. Like, physically, I hated being there. And it was like, it was adding so much stress to my life. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I have to go through so many of these labs to make it to medical school. I don't think I'm gonna survive. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm just gonna figure something else out. And so I thought I like wanted to be a lawyer or something. But I just started double majoring in psychology and economics because like I was like, all right, maybe I can figure something out with this. But yeah, when I went to Hopkins, I thought that I was going to become a doctor initially. Yeah.
Dang, that's wild. That's like a completely separate path at this point.
No, I know. And I don't know, it's crazy because like I mean, I've always considered myself an artist. Like I always like ever since I was a kid, I'd be like making art for fun. Like I was just obsessed with like drawing and stuff. And then I got really into photography when I was like 16. But I didn't really think I could like become an artist professionally because I have immigrant parents. So they're like, you gotta become a doctor or a lawyer. There's like three professions in their mind: doctor, lawyer, engineer. So I was like, okay, yeah, I can do medicine, I can do that. Like it's not hard.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I also have immigrant parents, and I don't know how they managed to let me do fashion, but it worked out. But no, I totally get that. I think it is so hard to, I don't know, I feel like you grow up thinking that being an artist is kind of like a hobby, or like art is always just a hobby, and you never think it can actually be some sort of career. But obviously, there's like a bunch of really successful creative people out there, and it doesn't have to be like strictly just like painting as art or whatever. Like it can be so many things. And clearly, you found a way to like merge both worlds, which is really, really cool. So how did the idea of like creating Mo.Na Gems come to play? Because I know you also like co-founded it with Mia as well.
Yeah, so it's really funny. I was on TikTok my junior year of college, you know. My last 2 years of college were Zoom University. I was
Yeah.
completely remote for the last years of college. So, you know, I had like more free time. It's crazy. I had more free time and I was like, I'm gonna start 2 businesses. Let's go. Like but I was spending more time on TikTok and I saw like there was this resin trend taking off.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, like that's cool, you know, but I was like, but that's like kind of bad for people's health. It's bad for the environment. And it's just like I don't know, we don't need more plastic in our houses. You know, it's nice that people are taking an initiative to like start businesses and stuff, especially women. But then I was like, but this isn't like productive. It's not like challenging anything. It's not pushing the narrative forward. And so then I was like, I want to do that, but like, how can I do that like better? Like, how can I do that like in a way that's, you know, just more sustainable and just better for people's health? And so I was like, oh, what if I made biodegradable earrings? And then I was like, but that's not possible. And I was just like laying in my bed and there's just like this internal monologue, like, oh, like what if I made biodegradable jewelry? But it was like, oh, like, but you didn't even study like chemical engineer. It was like a whole thing. And I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna try and like see what happens. And then I like texted me, like me and I weren't even friends. Me as my co-founder, we weren't even friends. I just knew her through like a mutual friend. And like we had
Mhm.
talked before, like I knew who she was, and I knew she was interested in sustainability. And like she was a material science major at
Mhm.
Hopkins, but then like sophomore year she switched to like chemical biomolecular engineering.
Dang.
So I was like, okay, like she like knows a little bit about molecules, you know, she knows whatever. And so I was like, I feel like Mia would be a great person to start a business with. You know what I mean? Like that was
Yeah,
like
oh
my
my
second
gosh.
thought. I was like, I don't know, she has a great sense of style. She is also an artist. She has beautiful paintings. Like, so I thought that she would understand that, like, you know, Mo.Na should like the aesthetic part of what I was trying to create too. So then
Mhm.
I reached out to her and I was like, hey, like, would you would you want to start this business with me? Like, I have this idea and I feel like you'd be a really great person to work with. It was just like I know we don't really know each other. We don't know each other that well, but like if you're down to start a business, I'm down to start a business. Let's just start a business and see what happens. And then we started the business and like it's going pretty well. So it's crazy, you know, just like took a leap of
Yeah.
faith. And I don't know why I was just super adamant about it being possible. Like, and I don't know, I thought like, and like Mia, definitely I feel like our knowledge of like chemistry was like pretty similar too, because
Mhm.
like I understand chemistry and like I had to learn a bunch of chemistry to even get to Hopkins anyways. So like our understanding of chemistry was pretty similar. She like had like a few more technical skills that were like helpful, like more practical skills. So it was like nice being able to work with her and just like understand like what was happening, and like we were able to like bounce ideas off of each other. And like so we started experimenting. I mean, I'm going into the whole story now,
No, yeah,
but
go for it.
we started experimenting like the summer between um junior junior and senior year. So like
Mhm.
we were about to be seniors, and you know we were like, okay, let's try this. And if you go on the internet you can find like the formula for bioplastic. Like their bioplastic is not novel, it exists. It's just
Mhm.
that no one has really taken the time, effort, and energy to like develop the material to make it have the mechanical properties similar to like traditional plastics. And a lot of the bioplastics that are like manufactured on a large scale, they're
Mhm.
not really like bioplastics, like
Yeah.
they're still like synthetic. So like we just spent a lot of time during the summer, just like almost every day we would just be like, it's science time, let's go. And we would just spend like hours just like watching YouTube videos, like researching, like trying different things. And then like we just like were so relentless. It was crazy. Like I don't know if I will ever be able to access that amount of like passion that I experienced during that time period. And it was like a sustained passion. It was going on for months. It was like from June to like August, and then also throughout our senior year. So we thought we were gonna get a lab our
Mhm.
senior year. But that COVID was still happening, so we couldn't get a lab. So we were kind of bummed out about that. And then we were using our kitchen, but then we're like, oh, whatever, let's just like keep using the kitchen, it's fine. And that actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because once we graduated, if we had developed our material to be dependent on like the lab equipment that labs have, then we would be spending thousands of dollars like renting the lab. So it just like worked out for us, thankfully. But yeah, so we just like from like June to like, I guess we found a working prototype, I want to say like January, February of 2021. So we were just relentlessly passionate. I don't know how I accessed that much enthusiasm for such a long period of time, especially while being in college. Especially, oh my
God, yeah.
Like Hopkins, like I don't know. Maybe it was like a manic episode that just like worked out for me. But yeah, but it was like really, really fun. Like, I don't know. It was just like, I became obsessed with failing. I know that sounds weird, but I was just like, every time we make a mistake or every time like we like try something new and it doesn't work, like we're just like gaining information, you know what I mean? So it just like kind of felt like a fun game to just like get all the mistakes out of the way. It's like, let's just like fail faster, like let's try this, oh that didn't work, let's try, you know what I mean? So it was just super fun and just like, I don't know. And also like as an artist, just like being able to create things and like see what happens. You're like, oh my God, like, is this gonna work? I don't know. Like, let's see, did it work? It didn't work, but we're so close. We're so close. I was literally every time I was like, no, Mia, like we're so close. We're almost there, almost there. Like literally every day, like it just felt like we were almost there. And then one day we finally like got a product that worked, and like we like had like an extensive system for like tracking like our trials. Like we did like hundreds of trials.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, we did hundreds of trials to like find to develop an end product that you know, we were satisfied with. So yeah, it was a fun time. It was a fun time in my life for sure.
It sounds so chaotic in like all the best ways though.
No, it was literally so chaotic. Like I don't know, I was like living off of like toast, because like I wouldn't even like eat food sometimes. I'd be like, no, like, you know, like when you're like so like wrapped up into something, like you're like, this is it, like I'm doing it. Like it was so fun. So yeah, and then okay, so then our second semester senior year, we're about to graduate. And so we started the business because we joined this accelerator program that our school had. Shout out to Fast Forward U. We got accepted into this accelerator program where they helped you, like, you know, they introduced us to like mentors, and we like learned from alumni who went to Hopkins who also took the entrepreneurial route. And then, you know, we got to speak to them. We had like brainstorming sessions. And so that was extremely helpful as well, because I think if it was up to Mia and I, we would have kept obsessing over making it more perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Because we got something that worked, but we're like, oh, but this is still ugly. Like we have to like blah, blah, blah. We have to like make it the most perfect thing ever. And it's like an endless. But when we got something that like remotely worked, our like director was like, oh, you got something that worked? Cool, start selling it. And we were like, what? He was like, start selling it and see if people want to buy your product. And we're like, okay, like we weren't like the hat, like we're like, oh, but and he was like, start selling it, just like test your idea, like you just like you don't want to wait, you know. And so we started selling it, and it actually just like went pretty well. Like I was like, wow, like this is cool, like this is like really just like working out. And at the end of our the best part of the story actually is that at the end of our semester, we had this demo day where we had to pitch to a panel of judges. They were all Hopkins alumni who also are successful entrepreneurs. And we won our demo day, which was really cool.
That's so cool.
We won $20,000. So
dang.
I was like, wow, like this is super cool. I think part of the reason why we won those because we were the only people who like actually like made money. Like I think while we were in school, I think we made like, I want to say around $3,000.
That's a good amount. Yeah.
No, I know. While you're like managing classes.
Yeah, like while you're still a student. Oh my God, that's like you're rich.
Yeah. No, like,
literally.
No, literally. So we were like, oh my God, yeah. So like, yeah, we made like $3,000 while we were in college, and the judges were like thoroughly impressed just like with the traction that we had gained. And we didn't even have followers on Instagram yet. I think we had like maybe 300 followers or something, but like they were just still impressed by our enthusiasm, you know, and also because we were like, oh, we want to work on this like full time after we graduate.
Right.
And I think we were the only judgy, like the people, whatever, the only people who said that, the only groups who said that. And yeah, so we won the demo day. It was crazy. That was like such a fun time in my life. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's so cool. I think that also you just have so much passion for it, and like people can definitely see that, and that like reads really well. And like, I don't know.
that's true.
I feel like if I were a judge, I would want to go for a passionate person, like someone who's
That's
not just like
true.
money driven, but you have like a real reason why you want to do it too. Like you're trying to do something good, which is really important
That's
too.
true.
You know?
Yeah, that's true, because I mean, some people do start businesses because they're like, I just want to make money. Or they
Right.
might not be obvious about that intention,
Yeah.
but that intention is still there. And you know what? That's actually part of the reason why I didn't want to be a doctor, because I was like, I only want to be a doctor because I want to make money. And I'm like,
Right.
that's like, I was like, I'm not gonna be a good doctor. I'm gonna be the worst doctor of all time. So I was like, I should probably figure. And it's so funny too, because I remember going through Hopkins, and like Hopkins is one of those schools where everyone is super like type A and super like, yeah, like I have my 5-year plan. Like when I graduate, I'm gonna do this, and like I already have this internship lined up, and this person's my mentor. And it's just like super like everyone's like, oh, they like have their whole lives like laid out. And I'm like, give me a break. We're like 20 years old.
Right.
No one knows what's going on. Okay. Like you can't even make yourself breakfast in the morning. And I remember just like junior year being like, dang, I don't know what I want to do after college. Like I really don't. And still senior year, I was like, I don't really know what I want to do after college. Like, but then it kind of just like unfolded in this way, like organically, that I'm like, okay, cool. Like I just like let myself like figure it out. Like I didn't try to like force myself like to fit into this like box of doing something I didn't want to do, because I don't know. I do have a lot of enthusiasm and passion.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, totally. I love it. I feel like that's you definitely need that to be an entrepreneur, because if you don't have that, I don't think you could ever be doing what you're doing. Like I think it'd be impossible.
No, yeah. I mean, just talking to some of the entrepreneurs that went to Hopkins and like they're further along in their entrepreneur journey, they're like, the beginning of it is not sexy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you watch like those startup movies of like about like Facebook or like whatever, and it's like they're like making hella money. No, when you first start, you're not making any money.
No.
Like it sucks. You're like, damn, is this gonna work out? There's like self-doubt. You know what I mean? Like the beginning of it. And also something that one of the like directors at FFU was saying, like especially about our startup, is that like most startups don't see profit until like the first like 5 years or something. Right. You know what I mean? And it's like we've been profitable like ever since we started, and like that's really cool.
No, I've heard that too. I was like, I don't know what I was listening to lately, but somebody also said that, and I was like, damn, we've got a long way to go. But like, you know, it's also like, I don't know, it's something to look forward to, because I feel like everybody says that once you pass that 5-year mark, it's like now you're like more stable, and like, you know, it's more just like going up. But like, yeah, it takes a long time to like really build something that's like stable and like is going to do well. And there's so many like ups and downs with it. But to have like early success with something is like just really friggin' cool, you know?
Yeah, I'm definitely very grateful, and I'm excited for like the journey that we're going on. Because also something me and I have been talking about recently is like, because we're both artists, we're both creatives, we want to figure out like how we can incorporate a more artistic avenue and aspect of our brand. Like we have the direct to consumer aspect where we're just like selling earrings, but like we want to figure out how we can like make like clothes. Like, have you ever seen the biophilic designs that fashion designers do, and it like resembles like fish or just like something in nature, and it's like sculptural and just like super beautiful and like avant-garde. I was like, Mia, like we have to make designs like this from our bioplastic. I think that would just be insane.
Oh my god, that'd be so cool.
I know, right? It would be like, it would just be revolutionary. I feel like So I think that's a project we're going to begin working on this year. So I'm really excited to see like what that part of Mo.Na grows into.
Right.
Because, you know, like we're very like interested in fashion and like
Mhm.
we went to Johns Hopkins. There are no fashion people at Hopkins. Like
Right.
there's no like fashion mentors. Like there are no like I guess there's like Warby Parker or something, but like
Right.
there's like no people who are like in fashion. So like we're just trying
Mhm.
to figure out like how we can like make those relationships and learn from people. And you know, I guess in the meantime, like build something that people who are in fashion would want to support as
Right.
well. And like it like my dream is just to like
Mhm.
have a fashion show and like have models and like have designs like with people wearing like
Mhm.
avant-garde, just like beautiful sculptural like stuff of our work like that. That's a dream of mine, and I hope that I can make it a reality.
That would be so freaking cool. Like actually making sculptural pieces out of like your bioplastic. Because even just like thinking of like, avant-garde stuff you like pretty much wear once and kind of it's over. But the fact that it could like naturally biodegrade and you could like watch that process would be the coolest thing ever. Like actually.
I know. I mean, like I think the bigger pieces, like they would probably take like a month or two, just depending on like their mass and density.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's the fact that like a lot of fashion clothes are just like tossed in the trash. And it's like it doesn't
Exactly.
matter if you toss this in the trash because it's gonna decompose, you know?
Exactly.
So I don't know. Yeah, like that. That's something I've been thinking about a lot. And I don't know, I'm just really excited about that.
Yeah, no, I love that. The fashion industry needs more of that because it's a little rough out there, you know? This is a little rough. Not gonna lie. But yeah, I guess, I was gonna ask you what other plans you had for Mo.Na, but that kind of like, is there anything else that you would like want to like go into aside from like fashion? I feel like as a creative, you probably have a million ideas all the times of a million things you want to do. It's like I'm sure there's like a lot of other things going on in your mind as well.
No, it's literally terrible. But I think that like my one of my long-term plans, especially when it comes to money, because you're right, I have so many ideas and I know
Right.
that I literally physically cannot do it on my own. And I
Hmm.
think like this experience that I've had with Mia is that it's always good to work with other people. Like I don't
Hmm.
think Mo.Na would be where it's at today if I was doing it by myself. So
Hmm.
I think, just like finding other people we can just like bring into our business, like people that we trust and like who
Hmm.
we can all just like work on various aspects of the business. Like it would be cool to work with someone who's more like business, like supply chain, like
Right.
manufactural oriented, who can like
Hmm.
help us make like mundane, like ordinary stuff like cups or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Right.
I don't want to be in charge of making cups, but if someone is really passionate about like, replacing like plastic cups with our thing or like whatever, like
Right.
plastic phone cases, just like, things that are traditionally made out of plastic. Like
Hmm.
I like, if anything was possible, if I could do anything in the world and like
Hmm.
limitations did not exist, my goal would just be to completely replace plastics. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
we don't need plastics. Like humans lived without plastics for so long. Plastics only became a thing in like the 60s. You know what
Right.
I mean? So like they haven't even been around for that long and they've
Hmm.
caused so much harm. So it would be cool to just like go back to a period without plastics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Um, so like that's my goal, my dream, just to get rid of plastic. So like if I could like meet with and like work with someone who like is like, oh, you want to get rid of plastics? Cool. Like I will be in charge of the department or like the sector or like building out something
Hmm.
that, will help us like achieve that goal. You know what I mean? And then
Right.
it's
Right.
like the fashion goal, like working more in the fashion industry, like
Hmm.
working with someone to like make those dreams and desires come alive. So I don't know. I'm excited to see like where this goes and grows organically over time.
Right.
Right now it's just me and I, it's just the two of us, every day,
Hmm.
enthusiastic, but
Yeah, no,
yeah.
that's so cool. I mean, you should definitely replace all plastics. I think that is so necessary nowadays. Especially since like COVID and like single-use plastics came back so much over the past couple of years, like so much, and people got too used to it again. And it's just, I feel like we just went back like at least 10 steps. Like we were starting to kind of like maybe do a little bit better, and then it's like, oh, never mind. Like we're just gonna go right back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah. As far as like the plastic that you create, like are you, well, bioplastic, not plastic. Are you gonna get like a patent for it? Like, is that how it works? Or is it something that's like kind of already out there? Like I literally am clueless about that field of stuff. But
No, that's a great
yeah.
question. I mean, that's a question we get all the time. People are like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you should patent it, you should patent it, you should patent it. And like, while our formula is unique, what makes it
Mm-hmm.
especially unique is the process for it. So like if we got a patent,
Mm-hmm.
patents number one are public domain. So once you public a patent, anyone can see like what you're
Right.
doing, what you've done, right? So while like legally, like yes, you should get a patent to be protected,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have the money to sue anyone. Like patents only work if you
Yeah.
have the money to sue people. And it's like, okay, we got a patent. If someone's infringing on our patent, we don't even have the resources to know that someone's infringing on our patent.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like let's take
Yeah.
Coca-Cola, for example. They don't have a patent. Their formula is just trade secret. And I think like that's the approach we're probably going to take for a while until
Mm-hmm.
like if it becomes absolutely necessary for us to get a patent, we'll do that. But like
Right.
I think we're small enough and like to the point where like I don't think that we'll have much competition. Also, like I just don't think anyone will have the level of enthusiasm we had to do what we did. Like no, we spent countless hours doing what we did to like get the product that we have. And like most people don't have the patience or time. Like we live in such a convenient,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, quick,
Yeah,
fast society. And
totally.
I just think most people like give up.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really like worried about someone infringing on our patent. Um, the only person who knows our formula, we had a third member who
Mm-hmm.
like is no longer a part of our a part of Mo.Na.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully she doesn't infringe on our patent. But other than that,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I feel like, as long as you don't tell too many people, it's like the Krabby Patty secret formula, you just nobody needs to
Exactly.
know.
No one needs to know.
Nobody needs to know.
Like yeah, so I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I feel like we haven't really like touched on this too much, but how did you get into like sustainability and kind of wanting to get into that sector of things?
So I think I've always been into sustainability.
Hmm.
I like just didn't have the vernacular for it.
Hmm.
Because I think like a lot of like immigrants and like just like poor people in general are
Yeah,
sustainable.
totally.
And it's just like built into their cultures. I think that America has branded like sustainability because like, you know, the way capitalism works.
Yeah.
But I think I've always just been like really into nature and I've always had like this deep appreciation, like this deep like value for like nature. And I grew up in Florida. I grew up around like trees. My
Hmm.
parents are from Jamaica. I grew up eating lots of like fruits and vegetables. So like I love the earth. Like my dad literally has a huge garden back home. He has a huge garden. He grows so many different plants and herbs and he eats all of them. So I think that I've always been into
Hmm.
sustainability. I just didn't really like know like the lingo for it until I got to college.
Hmm.
And like yeah, I've always been thrifting. I was thrifting before it was a trend just because like I was obsessed with clothes and like it was a
Hmm.
cheap way to get clothes, you
Right.
know. Especially when you're in high school and you're
Oh
working a
my gosh,
part-time
yeah.
job, you know what I mean?
Totally.
So
Totally.
I've always been into sustainability, or I guess I've always been practicing it.
Hmm.
And you know, like I've always had like a reusable water bottle, you know, also
Right,
because
right.
Florida's hot, you know, you just
Yeah.
gotta stay hydrated.
It's true.
So yeah, I've always been into it. So I think like Mo.Na is just like an end product of like like my essence, like who I've always been
Hmm.
as a kid. Like I think like what I've created is just like something like organic, like it just like came out of me. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
know if that
totally.
makes sense.
No, that makes
Um,
perfect sense. Yeah, I think you bring up a really great point of like, I don't know, sustainability is definitely like a word that kind of has become just like a buzzword in a way of just to make things sound good. But it's like a lot of people have been living that lifestyle without necessarily doing it for just like the earth. It's just like, it's honestly a lot cheaper sometimes to live sustainably in a lot of ways, which I feel like
yeah,
is something that people don't talk about because it's usually the other way around where people think it's super expensive to live sustainably. But I'm like, actually, like, I think it's actually cheaper. Like, depending on what you're
right.
talking about, I guess. But like, I would say majority of the times it's probably cheaper to live sustainably.
No, literally growing up, we didn't have a car. I always had to take the bus. I was always
Right.
carpooling, always doing public transportation. I wasn't flying around the country. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like there's just
Yeah.
like so many like aspects that like yeah, like people who have less money tend to live more sustainably because they don't have a choice, you know? So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a very important point to bring up. I feel like everybody always like grills me for that whenever I talk about sustainable fashion. They're like, it's so expensive. I'm like, it doesn't have to be. Go thrifting. That's the most sustainable thing you can do. Or don't even shop. That's the most sustainable thing you can do.
I
Like,
haven't bought new clothes in like a year. Like I
yeah,
haven't
it's
bought
so easy not
clothes.
to.
It's so easy. It's
So
just like
easy.
stop. Like
Literally.
just stop. Like
Yeah,
like no one's
literally.
forcing you to do no one is
I
forcing
know.
you to do this.
Literally, so many people are like, well, I like have to shop at Shein because I can't afford it. I'm like, no, you don't.
you
Nobody's
you
telling you
were
you have
fine
to.
before Shein. Like and my thing
Literally.
is we were all fine before Shein existed. Like it's a
Seriously.
new company. Like it's not like we're dependent on it. Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Like, oh, it's crazy.
It kills me every time. I don't know what it is with people and Shein, but like that specifically is just like such a, I don't know. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I think I think Shein enables people's like hoarding addiction. Like I think if you
Yes.
like hoarding, like then you love a place like Shein because you can like feed your addiction like very cheaply. You know what I mean? Like
Literally.
I think like deeper like below the surface level, it's like, oh, it's cheap prices. It's like, no, you have
Right.
a problem because it's not like people from Shein buy like one thing. Usually
Right.
those are people who like they will spend like $200. Like they will shop in bulk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
So yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
yeah.
I could never. Could never. Oh my God. Like it just stresses me out seeing people because then it's like, where do you even like put all these clothes you're getting all the time? Like,
Most
I
people
don't even
throw
want
their
to see your,
clothes
yeah.
away.
I'm like, I don't even want to see that. Like, that's so sad.
Yeah, I don't know. I try not to judge people because everyone's on
Mhm.
their own journeys of like
Right.
self-discovery and like understanding like their relationship to the earth and also just
Hmm.
like capitalism. Like I don't know, like everything, all the problems we have go back to capitalism. Like it's like if
Yeah.
capitalism didn't exist, we wouldn't need to be sustainable. Like I something I've been thinking
Hmm.
about recently actually is how capitalism has morphed our relationship to food in the sense
Mm.
that we're like dependent on this one system to eat, when like before capitalism like humans knew like how to grow their own food, like they knew like how to eat. You could just go outside and find something to eat.
Right.
Now like we would all starve without capitalism. I think that's super like weird and interesting,
It
like that we
is.
have like this literal dependence on it to eat food, and we like need food to eat. And I think also like in the same way that we're becoming dependent on it socially, like our like the way we communicate through Instagram and like just like a lot of privatized companies, like people don't know how to
Hmm.
make friends organically anymore. You know what I mean? Like people,
Yeah.
same thing like with dating, like people feel like they have to go on an app, and
Right.
like what's next? What else are they gonna take from us?
Literally. No, it's kind of honestly scary how much control there is around it. Literally everything.
Yeah, no, yeah. But only time will tell. Only time will tell.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about it. I
There's
mean, it's like
nothing.
you literally can't avoid it. Even like as a business owner, I'm like, I'm feeding into it like a
No, but
hundred
like you
percent.
have
Like
to.
you
You
have
have
to.
to. I mean, I kind of see it like you are just doing what you can to survive. Like I feel
Mhm.
like our generation, like Gen Z,
Yeah,
I mean, millennials are also aware of capitalism, but they're like
right.
balls deep into it. They're like, oh,
Yeah,
capitalism.
they're too far
And I feel
gone.
like, right, Gen Zs are like, capitalism's a little weird. I don't know. Something's a little off here. I don't
Yeah,
really know. And it's funny because like our parents' generation, the boomers, they're like, you just gotta work, you just gotta do what you need to do, blah, blah,
right.
blah. And like I have watched how capitalism has affected my parents. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah,
like, oh, like I hate working, like, like they're not happy because they have to work all the time. They can't like
right.
rest and relax. And I think like it's just interesting, like the polarities between like the generations.
Oh
You know
my
what I
gosh,
mean? Like
yeah.
I'm interested to see like how Generation Alpha responds to capitalism. Because
Yeah.
also I think Gen Z, like, have you ever seen the TikToks that are like Gen Z in the workplace, like Gen Z and
Those
like
are so funny.
so funny. They're literally like they're
Yes.
literally like from the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm on the clock, but after 5 p.m. I'm dead. Consider me dead. Like, I'm just like, that's so funny. Like,
literally.
so I think Gen Z's are like, I don't want to work, and I only want to work as much as I need to, like, to have like money to buy food and like pay my bills.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I think this dichotomy or this transition that's happening is very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's also like, I don't know, the past 2 years, at least for like older Gen Z, being in the pandemic, I think we are all like, oh, like we can literally just like live at home and make money. Like I don't have to go out anything. Like I can be like an influencer and just make money, like like everybody is just literally trying to be an entrepreneur, which is like great, but also like that can't work for us. Like, not everybody can actually realistically do that. But I love that everybody's like trying to do something though. Like it's cool to step out of the norm, just like basic 9 to 5 office job,
Right. Why work 9 to 5 when you can work 24/7?
Literally, I love working literally every hour of the day, even in my freaking sleep, I swear.
No, also, but something I think is interesting, because I feel like capitalism has just like been updating, like just like how our phones update. I think capitalism has been updating, and it's like now, like instead of businesses being like external, they're like internal. Like we have become the businesses.
Literally.
You know what I mean? Like especially
God,
like, with like influencers and everything, or just people becoming entrepreneurs. I don't know if corporations will exist in the same way that they do or like have done in the past, because people are more aware about like how evil they can be and like how bad it is for the environment. So I think that like, I don't know, I'm just like, how is it going to change? Like, are we just going to be interacting with each other as like businesses? Like, do people still have relationships? Like, what will humanity look like in like 50 years?
Honestly, great question. We will see. I feel like we're just constantly just like changing. And yeah, even like with corporations, I feel like everybody wants just like personable businesses nowadays, and like they want like a face they can relate to the business. Even with like, I don't know, I feel like the companies that have hopped on like TikTok are doing really well because of that. Like Duolingo,
like Duolingo.
Love them. Like we all associate the girl, I forget her name, but the girl that does it like to Duolingo. Now it's like a face to the name, and it's like feels personable and fun. And like if you don't have that with your business,
to be marketed to, like nobody wants to, because before you would just watch a commercial and it's like, call this number to get this service, or like buy this product, it'll change your life. But Gen Z, anytime we see an ad, we're like, skip. Skip. So now they have to get smarter. These businesses
yeah, they really do, because even like on TikTok, if I see the little like sponsored thing, immediate scroll. I don't care if it's a creator I love, like immediate scroll. Like I don't want to be marketed to, even though like I'm out here trying to market to people as a business owner too, but I'm like, skip immediately now. That's so bad.
Literally. Yeah, I don't know. We're all just trying to figure it out though. But I'm happy to see people be like, let's try something else. You know what I mean? Like maybe we can create a better future. And I think that's really cool.
Totally. I feel like people are definitely stepping into their creative sides a little bit more and being a little more introspective, which I think is really good. I think we've all had a lot of time to like think and be like, okay, what do I actually want to do? Like, what should I actually be supporting? It's all good. It's all good stuff. Hopefully.
I think so. Where did you go to college?
I went to FIT in New York.
Oh.
So I did the whole fashion school route. But so cool. Yeah, I graduated with my associates in 2020. I was going to continue my bachelor's, but I was like, I'm not doing this online for 2 years. So, ended up with an associate's. But then, yeah, I started my business right afterwards, and it's also done well since. So I'm just kind of chilling here.
So do you still live in New York?
I do not. I moved back to Indiana, which is where I grew up. Super random. Hate it here. Trying to move out. But yeah, during the pandemic, I always had to move out here because my parents were like, oh my God, New York is like dying.
You're gonna die.
Literally, because like New York got hit first. So like literally like my internship got canceled in like February, like before like March hit and everything. I was already getting into all that. So my parents were like, you need to come back home. And then I just never went back. So here we are. Yeah. But
that's fair.
But such is life. I'll hopefully get out of here soon. At least it's been nice that it like is really cheap to live here. So like running a business is like kind of nice for that sense. But other than that, kind of tragic.
Yeah, I mean also, but you're still young, so like you just get to like save money, like I live in New York right now, and like Like New York is so expensive. It's literally so easy to go outside and spend
Yeah.
$100. Like
Oh my
it's
God. Yeah.
insane. It's
Literally.
so insane. I'm just like, how did what just happened? Do you know what I mean? Like
Literally. Yeah.
crazy. It's
It
insane.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what can you do?
But it's New York, you know?
It's New York.
There's so much to do and so much to see.
So much to spend money on.
So much to spend money on. Literally
Actually,
everything.
I want to recommend this one book I read
Mhm.
last month. It's called How to Do Nothing. Wait,
Ooh.
let me find the author. How to do
I need to read that. I don't know how to not do anything.
Her name is Jenny Odell,
Okay.
but she essentially, the book talks about how like the attention economy. Have you heard of the attention economy?
No, I don't think so.
It's about how our attentions are being capitalized, like how like that's
Mm.
kind of like the last stop for capitalism, because like
Mhm.
first like labor was more like physical, you know what I mean?
Right,
But
right.
now it's not physical, like it's more like we're the businesses now.
Yeah.
And how like our generation especially is growing up with disorganized like thoughts, you know what I mean? Like we don't
Right.
know how to like just sit down, talk and think. But I bring up the book because there's a chapter where she talks about the reason why it's so hard for us to do that is because number one, we always have to constantly engage with capitalism, like without like a choice, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Especially in a place like New York, there aren't that many public spaces. Like there
Yeah.
aren't that many spaces to just like sit, gather, and talk. Like if you go to any other country, like they have literal like public squares everywhere for people to just like
Right.
talk. But in
Yeah.
America, it's so hard to find like public spaces to just like meet people and talk. And I
Right.
was like, that's so profound. That's like that's just so true. It's like we are just forced to spend money to interact with each other.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And that's like one of the like my family's from Europe. Well, half of it. I'm half Mexican, half Spanish. But like I love European like lifestyle because you do just walk around and there's always little plazas that you can like stop and everybody just hangs out there and everybody knows each other because it's like, oh, at like 5 p.m. on Fridays, we all just like meet right here. And it's super cute and
Right.
fun. I'm like, why don't we have anything like that at all here? Like
I
nowhere to
don't
be found.
know.
I
I
hate
know
it.
like that. Yeah, and I mean that's something I've been thinking about too, especially because I just moved here and I'm trying to make friends,
Right.
but being in college, like you live in a little tiny little bubble and you can like make friends and
Right.
super easy. But being in a real world, making friends is
It's
like
so
different.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's so hard. I feel like all the friends I've made outside of college have just been through social media, which is like really great. But also, it's like, how would I be doing this without social media? Like, how do people actually meet people out there in person? Like, like if somebody approaches me outside, like of my house or whatever, I'm like, don't talk to me. Like, I get
Right.
weirded out if people approach me. I'm like, why? Like, I should be open to that, but like, it weirds me out. Like, why am I like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I feel like we're all like that a little, just to an
Right.
extent. It depends on the context. It depends on the
Right.
context.
Right.
Also, something else she talks in the book is the reason why social media is so dangerous is because it lacks context. Like, there's
Mm.
no there's no like great grand knowledge on like social media. Like, no one bestowed upon us like the knowledge of Instagram. Like, there's no like historical avenue to like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So like for example, if we were in college together and I saw you in the
Mhm.
library and I approached you, you'd probably be more open to it because you're in a
Totally.
space where you have the context of school, you feel safe. But like if
Mhm.
it's a random stranger on the street, there's no context for you to feel safe.
Yeah.
And like the same thing when you DM people on Instagram, I'm sure like there's a context in which you can communicate with them. Like there's a
Mhm.
proxy, like, oh hey, like we are both interested in the same one thing, like maybe we should
Right.
meet up.
Yeah,
So yeah.
totally. It's so weird how that works. The world is a weird place. That's the conclusion of all of this. Just a weird place we live in.
To conclude.
Yeah, to conclude that.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really
Of
appreciate it.
course. No, I'm so grateful that you came on today. It's super cool to talk to you about literally what you're doing is literally so freaking cool. Like I cannot wait to see everything else you do. I'm waiting for that fashion moment, the avant-garde looks. Like I am waiting
Thank
for
you.
that.
Give me like
Absolutely.
maybe like 5 years or so,
Yeah, those
just
are
like
gonna take
it's
some
gonna take
time,
some
but
time. Yeah.
once you hit that 5 year like business mark, everything's gonna go up. So we're gonna wait
Yeah.
for it. you know, it's gonna be
Thank you.
great.
I really appreciate this. And if you're ever in New York, would love to like meet up, you
Yes.
know.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to go back at some point. I did New York Fashion Week last September. So I'm trying to hopefully do it again this September. And then,
Okay.
if you want to, maybe give some jewelry for my products, it would be kind of
Oh
fun.
my God, yes, that'd be cool.
That would be really cool. We should talk about that. Even
Yeah,
though
we
it's
should talk
literally
about that.
spring and it's going to be like months in advance, but it would be fun, would be cool. But
Yeah,
anyway,
because maybe
yeah.
we could design something, you know, whatever. We can talk
Oh
about it.
my
We can
God.
talk about
Yeah, totally, totally. That would be so cool. Okay, I'm getting too excited. But anyway, shout yourself out. Where can people find you and Mo.Na Gems and everything?
it. So you can follow us on Instagram at Mona.gems, Mona.gems. That's also our handle on TikTok. And if you use Pinterest, that's also our Pinterest. And our website is MONASGEM.com. So it's monasgem.com. So yeah,
Okay.
check out our website, follow us. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Go check them out if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.